Hello, everyone. Welcome to AG Triathlon for a race recap episode. Today, I have with me Lars Petter Stormo, who recently finished second place in Ironman 70.3 in the overall age group category. Hi, Lars Petter. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. We, of course, heard a lot about Christian Blumenfeld and Gustav Iden. Now, Lars Petter Stormo is the next Norwegian sensation. Super cool to see you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. I get to be a part of the Norwegian hype now, maybe. I am a construction engineer from Norway, 42 years old. Been doing triathlon since I did my first one in 2007 and more seriously into Ironman racing since 2015-16.
Very cool. You placed second in Ironman 70.3 Mallorca 2 weeks ago now, behind Jack Hutchins, who is essentially, he just got his pro card, so I guess we can count him as a pro. Massive congratulations, of course, to you. Tell us a bit about the race.
Thanks. It was a good race, really good race, and a kind of a relief. Last year I didn't nail the races I wanted to nail, so I had some mishaps and didn't do as well as I had hoped. So I was really hoping this would be a good race for me, and I had trained well going into the race. So I'm really happy with the result and my overall performance from start to finish. So very happy with that one.
Very good. I would be too in your place. How about you run us through the race? Start us off with the swim.
Yeah. It's a very familiar race for me. I've done it 5 times before. So I love the race and love the island. I do most of my training when I'm outside Norway. I go to Mallorca. So I know the course very well. So the swim was good for me. I tried to start pretty far near the front in the rolling start. I don't want to be in the front. I know I'm not the fastest swimmer, but I like to be around the fastest guys. So I guess I was in line 8 or something out in the water. In the start, I really need to be careful not to start too hard. So I try to place myself on the side and find my own rhythm, not push too hard. And then after a couple of 100 meters, I just find a group and try to stick with it. So I got onto a good start. It was a little bit crowded with the full distance race going at the same time, and they had just finished their first loop, so they were mixing it up, but it was a good group, and I found some good legs all the way around almost, and last half I could push a little bit harder and reaching up to a group in front, so I felt really good and got the swim pretty easy and came out of the water in low 26 minutes. That's good for me. My fastest swim time is 25 or something, and 26 is good, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, super strong swim. So then into transition, do you consider yourself fast at transitions, or are you still working on it?
I'm actually pretty good, I think. Average. It's a long transition, really long in Mallorca, a lot of running. So, and I'm one of the guys that don't put my shoes on the bike. I put them on when I'm changing, and I find that to be a big advantage for me. I run just as fast with my bike shoes on, so I put the shoes on and was running fast to the bike, and when I get on the bike I have full power from the gun, so I feel I'm faster with the shoes on from the start. So it was a good transition, no mix up around where I've been before, and a little bit better, so it was good.
Very nice. And then onto the bike, you mentioned briefly before the interview that you are an ex-mountain biker, so I take it that the bike is your happy place.
Yeah, I love the bike, and especially a technical bike course like we have on Mallorca. It's super nice, and knowing the course, I try to take it a bit easy and not push too hard on the first half, because it's around 15 km into the long climb, and up the long climb I just rode my own pace, and I felt actually really good, better than I expected, and I was hoping to aim around 330 watts on the climb, but it was so easy, so I went up in 350 and still felt pretty easy. So it was a good climb, and I lose some time to the best age groupers on the climbs, but I guess I almost catch the same amount of time on the downhill, especially on a technical downhill like this. I gain a lot of time on the downhills, being a good technical biker. So it's not that bad if I lose half a minute up the climb. And then I could start a push on the last half of the course, on the flat course. So I pushed the pace a bit, and then last 20-25 Ks, it was a pretty bad headwind. And then a group came together, and we rode, got a good pace line going, more or less on the limit with 12 meters apart, and it was a big advantage being in the pace line on the group. So I felt there were a couple of guys in the group that was pushing really hard at the front, and I could see our pace were 43 kilometers an hour, and I knew I wasn't going to push harder than that on the front, so I was just sitting in the back and got the last 20 Ks pretty easy. So it was overall a good ride for me, and it was a little bit long course, so it's hard to compare to earlier editions, but I think it's one of the better bikes I have done on that course.
Very cool. What was your average wattage?
I guess I was 290 in normalized power, and that's good for me on that course. The average power is a little bit lower, I think high 260s, but that's pretty much because of the long downhill, and also a little bit because of just sitting in the back of the group on the last 20 Ks.
Yeah. So you mentioned, right, that you're a very good technical descender, obviously coming from mountain bike. That's a natural thing. Do you have any tips for the age groupers who are a bit more afraid or less good on the descents? Like, what would be your number one tip to improve your descending?
It's just you have to practice technical downhills and have to relax, be really relaxed in the upper body, brake before the turn, and just commit to when making the turn. You have to commit to it and look for the apex and the outgo of the turn. And of course on Mallorca it's a big advantage knowing the downhill, which I do, and there's some blind turns, but I know I don't have to brake in them, so that's also an advantage on that course, of course. But it's a lot about relaxing on the bike and not stiffening up and not braking when you don't need to brake. So that's some of it.
Very cool. Yeah, so you know the descents because you train quite a bit in Mallorca and have done the race before. So yeah, makes sense. Great.
Yeah, I know them really well, so that's good.
Yeah, so when you get off the bike, tell us about how the legs are feeling.
I was feeling really fresh, but that was part of the problem last year as well. I felt pretty fresh off the bike, but then after 10 Ks I started to fade. I'm not sure what the issues were. There were a lot of things going on last year, so I'm not sure what happened last year, but now also I felt really good out on the run, and I tried to stick to my planned pace. It's all about holding myself back on the first case, not going too fast, because it's a lot of adrenaline, and I almost always feel very fresh going out on the run. So I tried to stick around 340k, and it felt really easy. So the first lap I took it pretty easy around that pace, and then I got caught by the first pro who had done his second lap, so I took his back, and then the pace increased a little bit, but I felt really good. But he started fading after when he was half a lap before the finish. So then I went past him and did my own pace from there. I was really nervous passing halfway around 10k if I was going to fade like I did last year, but I just felt better and better. And out on the last lap, it's 3 laps in Mallorca. So on the last lap, I felt really good. I can push, and still on the last 2Ks I had a small sprint, and that was kind of good because I heard someone say that it was really close in the age group field, so I didn't know how close, but I just got shouted that I needed to sprint, so that's what I did.
I think the difference with third place was 6 seconds or something like that. So quite the race.
Yeah, yeah, it was quite close. I didn't know about that. I knew the guy in front was far ahead, and that wasn't going to happen. But that wasn't that big a deal. I know he was in another age group, and he had a much better swim than I did, and a faster run as well. So hats off to him. But it was fun getting the second place overall, and of course the age group win in my category.
So how do you explain last year versus this year? Do you know what you did differently, or was it just one of those days that this year you had a good one and last year you had a bad one?
I'm not sure actually, because in 2020 I tried to go pro. That was definitely not the year to go pro. I was planning. I quit my job the 1st of January. I was planning a year with a lot of travel and a lot of racing in the pro field. But as we all know, 2020 wasn't as we expected, so that didn't happen. So then I had to go back to work in 2021, and I did a lot of races. I did some races in 2021, and I know one of them did not go as planned because of the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. I got that too close to the start, just 5 days before, and then Ironman Lanzarote did not go as I had hoped. But I think that was part of the vaccine that did that. And in Copenhagen, I won my age group, but still I didn't nail the run as I had hoped for. I'm not sure. I think that was some kind of a nutrition issue. And again, on the full distance in Mallorca, I had really trouble with my stomach from the day before. I ate something I shouldn't have ate or got something from the water, so I had to DNF that one. So a lot of trouble last year. I haven't done much different in the training this year, but maybe a little bit smarter. Still learning at the age of 42.
Yeah, don't get a vaccine shot 5 days before the race. I think that's a good learning.
No. I learned that one. Didn't know it then, but now I know.
Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, right?
Yeah.
What about the rest of the seasons? What are your next races?
Now I'm doing 70.3 Elsinore in 5 weeks in Denmark. So that will be fun. First time I'm doing that race. And then in August, I will do the Ironman Copenhagen, which I also did last year. So that's a fast course, and I'm really looking forward to that. Hope to maybe set a fast time. And then it's Kona, Hawaii in October. So that's the big goal of the season.
Very cool. And how did you decide? You were also qualified to St. George, I suppose. How did you decide not to race in there?
Yeah. Now for me, it's Hawaii and Kona. That's the magic, and that's where I want to go back. And part of the race and the atmosphere and everything, and also Hawaii is a great place. So me and my wife were doing this together, and we were never considering St. George. It was Hawaii or nothing. So we're really looking forward to going back there after 2 years not having been there.
Very cool. And what about 70.3 Worlds? Are you considering those or not at all?
Oh, that will be too close, I think. And no, I won't do it. We did the 70.3 Worlds in Nice some years ago, and that's easy because it's in Europe. But I'm better at the full distance than I am at 70.3. I feel I have more. I have a better chance at the World Champs. Even though I won in Nice, I really like the full distance, so that's my main priority.
Awesome. Well, Lars Petter, wishing you best of luck for the rest of the season. Congrats once again for a great performance in Mallorca. Happy that you got your revenge on last year. And hope to see you out there.
You will. See you. Thanks.
Thanks.